Good morning, everybody. It is Michelle Alcorn here with Atlantic Canada Cooks. And for all of you that are regular watchers for over 200 weeks, I am in Blockhouse, Nova Scotia, which is directly by Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. And I think a lot of us know that Atlantic Canada Language Academy or Language School is a big supporter of our cooking club. I'll put a little hold up here and a shout out to our team at the school. That's our beautiful building in Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. It's called the Castle on the Hill. And this morning I am filming with my good friend Elena, who's taking care of stuff in the background, from a beautiful tiny home, just a 15-minute drive from the school. So you're going to see a very different background. And today we're going to be talking about some Atlantic Canadian, Nova Scotia dishes, but a lot about what you're eating when you're camping or you're in those smaller areas. But we have a lot of good amenities in here. We've got an air fryer, we've got a burner, we've got an oven. So we're going to be talking about some great Nova Scotia. And I want to give a huge shout out, as we say, to Nutsmith, who's one of our great sponsors. This is a nice big jar of the peanut butter. And what is very much a favorite for me, growing up having it, and almost probably 80% when you're camping, peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, or as we say here, PB&J. So we're going to talk a little bit about that. We're going to be using the amazing smooth peanut butter. We said before, there's lots of options up here. They've got an amazing almond and cashew butter. And one of their most popular products is a tahini. And I can tell you, I've had tahini all over the world, which is a sesame paste, and they make an amazing one. So thank you to Nutsmith, Windsor, Nova Scotia. And I'm here in Nova Scotia. We should have got a Nova Scotia flag. But we're here in this really cool tiny home. I'm going to give you a little bit of a tour of that here in a few minutes. But we've been here celebrating our annual party, welcome party, and we've had some great food and great things along the last few days. So we're going to so I like my peanut butter and jelly toasted. So I'm going to give these a beautiful, we went to a local bakery and had them cut them for us perfectly. And this is just a rye bread, and we really both enjoyed that. So we're going to toast these up, and we're going to start. So thank you all for joining Elena and I for breakfast. But we're going to have a couple of unique things today. We're also going to have some nachos, and we're going to be making an omelet. And those were a few of the things that we're going to be having today. And when you're camping or you're living in small spaces or renting a place out, Airbnb is something so popular around the world, or Verbo, or whatever you want to call it. And but you come into spaces, and so what do you cook? What can you prepare when you have a tiny fridge and a tiny everything? And really, you can eat just as great food as you do at home. So last night, while we were getting ready, or while we were enjoying our evening and sitting around, we had a beautiful charcuterie tray. So like a lot, we can buy them here already with some mixed meats in them. And so in this particular one, we had a prosciutto, a capicola, and some mortadella. Well, I'd have to say that Elena and I must have enjoyed the prosciutto really well, because there's none of that left. Good morning, Shinobu. But so what I have here is I've got a beautiful piece of the cured ham. We've got some smoked meat that we also had, and some of the mortadella. So we've got this amount left over. It's perfect for an omelet. So this is what I like to call my charcuterie omelet. So no matter what you have left over at the end, you can definitely be using that. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to finely cut this, and I can stack the meat on top of each other. And I'm just going to run my knife through, because I'm just going to cut it into strips. And we're going to use this as the base of our omelet. And I can tell you it's going to add a great flavor and a little more protein, which, protein in the mornings is super important. We're always talking about health and wellness here on Atlantic Canada Cooks, and eating great food is always important. So we'll get this cut out. Look at that. Perfect. Now we've got that nice pile of mixed meat. And by the way, choose whatever you want for this, because you can use any types of meat and those that feel good. So I'm just going to set this over here behind us. As we know, in this tiny home that we're in, we have a little bit of limited space. So the meat's cut up for the omelet. One of the other things that we want to get ready is our eggs to put in. And because it's Elena and I, this is going to be our breakfast just before we're checking out here. And we're going to take those beautiful nachos and use them for what we call the road trip. So what a lot of people don't know for geography, because we're here, like I said, in the South Shore of Nova Scotia, and we'll be driving back to New Brunswick, and it's going to take about a 3.5-hour drive from here. So, and there's a beautiful place that we always stop along the way, and I know we're excited, and that's called Masstown Farmers Market. Atlantic Canada Cooks, for us, we talk about local is where you are. So we've been in Lunenburg this weekend, and we're going to be traveling home. So we want to stop and meet some of the local vendors, local people. And we love the cheese at the Cheese Creamery. And my mother's here smiling. She's already put her order in. So we're going to be making sure that we stop there along the way. So we're going to have some snacks for the drive and enjoy that. So omelets are easy, and I wish more people took the time to make omelets, because in the morning, starting your day with protein is incredibly important. So what we're going to do is I'm just going to get those eggs beaten up, as we say, or mixed up really well. And you want to get a little air in them, because it makes your omelet just that little bit more fluffy. And I'm excited when I turn it. We're going to give you a tour of the tiny home we're in and show you on the other side here where we're going to cook that. So that's great. I'm going to add a little salt and pepper to that, because really it doesn't need any other seasoning. And remember, we're going to add that beautiful different flavored meats to it. And that alone is going to give the omelet an incredible flavor. So we've got our eggs, a little bit of salt and pepper. Those are good to go. And we're going to set that over here with our meat. I can smell our toast getting all toasty. It's going to be delicious. So I love talking about food with everybody I meet. And as we say, food kind of transcends language sometimes. I know Shinobu, who's one of our good friends, but also a student at our school. When we first met 3 years ago, Shinobu, her English wasn't as strong, but she comes to cooking club. She attends all of our extracurricular activities, but we've always been able to talk about food, right? Food brings people together, and we had some new students arriving from the Dominican Republic and Colombia this week in Lunenburg, and we had great conversations, mainly around food and some nice beverages at a couple of wonderful local establishments here in Lunenburg. We were at the Lightship Brewery. I know Shinobu spent time there, and we just enjoyed showing them the beauty and history of this great town of Lunenburg, Nova Scotia. So bananas are one of my favorite fruit. We definitely don't produce these here. So there's always your global. But we're talking about peanut butter today. And one of my favorite combinations since I was a kid is peanut butter and banana. So the most popular would be peanut butter and jelly, but we're going to go with peanut butter and banana. And I love it because I said to Elena, have you ever tried that? And Elena is our human resources manager, and she's also from Russia originally. And she said, I have not tried that combination, but she likes bananas and she likes peanut butter. So I promised her that she will enjoy it. So we're going to make a little bit of both. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to slice my bananas up. And you can do one of two things, because sometimes I take the whole banana out and slice it long for the sandwich. But I'm just going to kind of slice this on an angle. And I want nice thin slices, because when you're having peanut butter with banana, the bananas are slippery. So I'm going to cut them in a bit of an angle shape like this so that we can get more banana. And I cut them thin because I want a thin layer of banana in this sandwich. And I've often made banana bread where I've added peanut butter to banana bread just to mimic, as we would say, a little bit of that flavor. So as you can see, right here in front of me is a sink. Working in our tiny home. Elena, you should check on that toast. So we're going to check on that toast, which I think is almost ready. So we've got our nice banana slices here. We know we've got some limits with our lighting. And then, of course, we're going to have that beautiful peanut butter. And what I love about these nut butters, and this is a beautiful brand new one. Oh, look, there's our timer. Is how smooth. So this is the smooth. It comes in a crunchy as well. Smells amazing. The only ingredient is peanuts. So thank you, Nutsmith, for really making sure that there's not the extra sugars or things that many of us today are just trying to avoid. So I'm just going to show you the beautiful consistency. Look at that. Absolutely amazing for this peanut butter. So we have our perfectly toasted bread. Well done. So, and we've got these nice mini pieces. So one thing that you'll always find here across Atlantic Canada, especially in our region, is so many bakeries. There's lots of small bakeries. There's lots of places that are making and serving amazing local food. And we've been exploring the last few days some of that local food. So what I'm going to do right now is I'm going to put peanut butter on all 4 slices because we can. But this is what's going to kind of bind everything together. So we're just going to make sure that we get that peanut butter spread. And I always say, get it to the edge. We want to have it all across that. Because we're using peanut butter on both sides, you don't need to put it too thick. But if you have that friend that likes more, go for it. We know that there's a lot of nut allergies and things too. So I think it's always important to check with that when you're having your sandwiches with people. I know in the back, when I was growing up, we all brought them to school, but I think there's a lot more limits now, right, Elena? Mm-hmm. Here for bringing things to school. But peanuts are a nut butter, but peanuts grow in the ground. And then you have over here, we've got our almond butter. And the almond butter is a tree nut. So some people's allergies are to the ground nuts and not to the ones that are growing. So that's kind of interesting. So it's important to know that. I think for parents, it's really important to know that because the kids are coming over after school and always understanding what's going on. So we went out shopping yesterday too. And we've got, of course, everything comes in giant jars because of homemade. But there's Lincoln Street Food and Hodgepodge here in Lunenburg. And they make some of the best jams and jellies. So this is a strawberry jelly. And what's different with the jelly is they've removed a lot of the seeds, but it's still that pure strawberry. And Nova Scotia is known for its strawberries. So thank you for the locals. So we're going to put some jelly. I'm excited. Look at that. This is going to be what we're going to start eating. So get a good layer. Don't be shy with the jelly. And I actually like to serve these open face. So you can just put them around and really have 4. We're going to have this into a nice little micro sandwich. So this one, and then the other one, like I said, we've got all of our peanut butter spread. And now what I'm going to do is nicely position the bananas. And bananas actually are sticky, but they're also slippery at the same time. So again, growing up, favorite thing to do. The one thing I wouldn't do, I would make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich in the morning and I would eat it later. But the peanut butter and banana, I usually want a little fresher because you don't want the bananas to sit all day. You can see the bananas sticking out the side of that. So Elena, we're going to start our morning off with our little micro sandwiches. I'm actually going to cut them in half so we can each have a half of each. Look at that. The other thing we say, so we knew when we were coming to this tiny home for a few days to stay, that for the most part, it would have everything we needed in it. And they do, but sometimes there's a few limitations to how many knives you have. So I'm going to make sure Elena is smart and takes a good picture of that. But there, we're going to be starting off with these amazing sandwiches. I cannot wait. They're going to be delicious. There we go. So a good healthy start to your morning is you're getting that healthy bread, and then you're going to get that beautiful peanut butter, which again is getting some protein to start your day off. So Elena, I'm going to hand those over there. We're going to show you on our micro table that we have here. So before we get going on the nachos, I'm going to give everybody a little bit of a tour because you're pretty much seeing our whole living space. But I want to say thanks to the owners. The little place we're in is called the Ruby. So very cute name. And look at this beautiful map. And it's a scratch map. So any of the visitors that have visited from around the world scratch their country flag off across the bottom and then can take and scratch off where you've been. So someone had already scratched New Brunswick off for me, but Elena had fun scratching off Moscow and Russia and making sure that you could see her Russian flag. So hopefully more people from more countries come up here to visit. And I see our good friend Dion is zoomed in, and hi to all of our YouTube friends. And Dion loves to camp and go out and walking. You might have to take the tour up this way. So let's show you a little bit more of the kitchen. So as you see, we've got all of our appliances on this side. That's where you're seeing me cooking, and very cute. But I think what's really cool is when you see how the ceiling goes, right? You see this is a blade. Michelle points the right direction. Beautiful artist. We'll post some pictures of it afterwards. Made a beautiful saw blade and painted it with a great picture from Atlantic Canada. So you really are going to get that artistic, rustic feel. And then here behind me is the washroom. So there you go. We've got a very cute bathroom, nice size shower, everything on the inside. And I think what I like about tiny home living, not much space to clean. Leah and I are both laughing. Here's the this ladder. That ladder is going to take you up here to where the bed is upstairs. So there's a little tour, and we're going to end our episode off today with showing you the outside. But I just wanted to give you an idea of the space that we're working in today. So, did you taste the sandwich? All right, Elena, Elena gets to be mom today and gets to do some taste testing on the back end. So we're going to put this one over here. And the next thing that we're going to do is I've got a little salad that we're going to mix together, and we're going to make our nachos and our omelet as we wrap this up. And one of the most popular things here in all of Atlantic Canada, but especially in Nova Scotia in this region, would be seafood. And it was not for lack of trying. We were a little late getting at an event last night, and we were only able to get live lobster. So we were going to do lobster nachos. which we will do in the future, I promise, Elena. But today, right? Because that's something we would do here in our region, because a product like that is a bit more readily available. So instead today, we're going to do some really good chicken nachos. So I've got my little dish here. These chips, though, I'm really excited. These are all handmade chips. So they were made fresh yesterday. Love that. You can get a lot of a variety of homemade fresh things here. And it was really exciting while we were driving. 2 new restaurants. And I know many of you know Shinobu comes here a lot. Shinobu, they opened a sushi restaurant and an Indian restaurant in Lunenburg since you were here. How exciting is that? Right? So we've got these beautiful fresh corn chips here. So we've got the little toaster oven. Elena, maybe we'll get that on broil. And what I would have been, I'm gonna add the ingredients as I would. Now, there we go. So I did buy some pre-grated cheese. Sometimes when you're camping, you want to save a little bit of time. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a good layer of cheese across these. This cheese is a Tex-Mex cheese. So it already has some extra seasoning in it. Because we knew when we got here, the only spices Elaine and I have is salt and pepper. So we knew when we were buying things that we should be smart about it. So we like cheese. We're going to get the cheese in here. These won't take long to melt this down. And then the other thing is we had some wonderful chicken burgers the other day, or some chicken fingers, and we kept a few. So these are a beautifully seasoned chicken finger, and we cut them up. Because that's the other thing, taking your leftover food and repurposing it the next day is so good. And we're getting all new flavors with this one. So I'm going to put the chicken through here. And as you can see, we're going to have fun. We're having nachos and omelets for breakfast. We pretty much eat anything on this show, any time of day. And we encourage it. Food is meant to be shared. So we've got our chicken and our cheese on here. And now we're going to put that into the broiler. I'm actually going to put a bit more cheese. We're going to put it in the broiler. And then we've got a little to-go container. And we actually can take these for our trip. Because remember, we do have a 4-hour drive. So we're going to have a good breakfast. And we'll have some snacks for the road, which is better. So I'm going to pass these like magically to Elena behind us, who will find a way to get those into the toaster oven. So I love extra fresh everything. So what we did, because yesterday we had a wonderful annual welcome party for all of our students from Atlantic Canada Language Academy. And we had cut up some tomatoes and some onions and some great ingredients, because we had hot dogs from around the globe with unique and different toppings. So in that, we had some extra tomatoes and onions. So Elena and I we made ourselves a little pico de gallo. So we kept this. So we're going to be able to use this cold topping with our nachos. So in here is some beautiful diced tomatoes. And of course, what's better than fresh local tomatoes? And they don't get more local than this, Mom, because these are from our backyard. Well, I guess these are imported into Nova Scotia tomatoes now, because they brought them from New Brunswick to Nova Scotia. But we did spoil ourselves in this batch to make sure that we use those nice backyard tomatoes. And I just want to remind people that this time of year here, and it would have been late August and early September, many of us are harvesting our home gardens right now. And this is where you're going to see a large amount of fresh, they smell amazing, fresh ingredients available. So we've got this that we made. But we both love guacamole, and we weren't going to tackle avocados. So we bought a store-done guacamole already made for us. So we're going to be able to have that. I see my mom holding up a jar that looks great, Mom. She's got all the baby tomatoes. So we are also growing the cherry tomatoes, right? And Mom, you're on mute. If you want to unmute, you can unmute. Maybe Jawad can help you with that. You're good. She's just going to sit and enjoy her tomatoes. Honestly, the ones that we're growing home are like candy. I just keep eating them like candy as I'm walking around. They're absolutely amazing. So the nachos are ready. We've got our toppings for our nachos already ready. If you don't have an opportunity to make all the salsas, there's great fresh local ones. We hope that you visit your local farmers markets. We've done a little bit of that while we're here. But I can tell you the fun thing is there are literally farm stands on the sides of the road. So if you don't make it into the farmer's market, and I don't know, Elena, if you notice them, we're driving up, there's people that have just signs, and you can go up, and it's on your honor, which means you take your cucumbers, your tomatoes, your onions, and you put your money in a container, and you pay what they suggested you pay. So welcome to Atlantic Canada, where we still have a large amount of trust in people coming in and doing that. And you can buy firewood that way too, right? There's bundles of firewood for the campers. So many people camping, and you just put your $5 in and you get your big bundle of wood. And it's really beautiful because lots of little streets, and you see just people. Mom, you and I might have to do that with mint. I should start a mint stand. I was dropping some mint off to my great Moroccan friends in Moncton recently because we have a lot of mint growing around our yard. And so I keep cutting it and delivering bags of it to people. But maybe I'll have to start a mint selling on the side of the road, see how I do with that. So the other thing that is really great, and it's a very popular, there's a lot of salads or slaws or coleslaws. So I have a mix here, and this is fun. As I said to Elena, we didn't have a lot of bowls here. So I'm making the salad in a pot. But that is something too, right? Sometimes you don't always have the utensil or the holder that you want, but there's always a way to get it done. So we have a mix in here of beautiful, we've got fresh lettuce, we've got some great purple cabbage, which is always wonderful. And we've got some great shredded carrots that are in here. And we have a couple of different types of lettuce, and it's cut out really small. And we went and got the dressing pre-made with this, but I would just use some mayonnaise and some hot sauce to make a little bit of a southwestern spicy mayo. But hopefully you can see the color of this. Thank you for these guys because they've already made it for me. So just put enough in here to season this amount of salad. But I like, when I'm doing a salad, I also like to add a little bit of cheese. So we've got some grated Parmesan cheese that we're going to put into this salad. And because we're going with mine and Elena's Southwestern theme here this morning for breakfast with omelets, some breakfast nachos. Yeah, that looks great. And and the other thing about a pot is really easy for mixing because the sides are high. So we're going to mix that around. And I'm not going to put them in just this second, but just before we sit down and eat them, we've got some of those great corn chips crushed up. So what we're going to use is some wonderful corn chips. They smell amazing. I'm going to put them back in here. Just before we eat this, we're going to put those on. The reason why I'm not putting them on now is if I did, when we eat this in 30 minutes, those chips won't have their crunch I see my mother mouthing, they will be what we call soggy, right? And we don't want that. So we're going to set this off to the side. And actually, you know what? I do have one more bowl. There we go. We've got it mixed. And this is breakfast for two. So we're making sure that we're making small salads, small things. And I love the look of this salad too, because it's really pretty with the purple. And you've got the green and the orange, and then that wonderful dressing, and it smells amazing with the hot sauce in it. And we're gonna, like I said, we're gonna top this off with a little bit of those crunch chips. And hopefully you see, we're kind of bringing the corn chips throughout our recipe. I don't think we'll put them in the omelet. So we're gonna take a little bit of a different spin on direction. And Elena, I'm gonna, just as I'm getting organized, Elena, do you want to see if you can get that burner turned on? So it's really efficient. So while Elena's doing that, I'm going to show you just how efficient these guys are. Perfect. So we already have our eggs. I think we've got the cheese over there for the omelet. If not, there we go. So we're going to have to, are the nachos pretty much done that we can unplug that for a few minutes? There we go. We'll do that. Limited electrical outlets. Actually, congratulations to the people that built this, and we'll give them a shout out as well. We've had an amazing experience staying here, but the family that owns this owns a metal roofing company, and someone must have been thinking, because there is electrical outlets everywhere, so we have not had an issue getting things plugged in. So we have a singular burner. And so we're going to get that turned on. So we're going to get this omelet together, our charcuterie omelet, and we're going to be wrapping up what's going on. So while that burner heats up, which I don't think will be long, we're of course going to use a little bit of olive oil in the bottom of the burner so that we can get that. We don't want our eggs to stick to everything. And we've already seasoned the eggs. So when we wrap up today, I'm going to take you on a tour of the outside, because this probably has under 200 square feet of living space, but we've got a great, huge space outdoors. Originally, we thought it was going to be raining. Thank you, Nova Scotia. It's not raining this morning, so maybe Elaine and I can enjoy our breakfast out on the outside deck before we take our drive home. Right? And then we can take an adventure. I will say this just before I go over. We were doing some snacking, because when you're camping, you do a little snacking. This is a nod to the west coast of Canada. These are called hard bite chips. Mom, you and I have had this brand before, but different flavors. And we just want to say thank you to Hard Bite in British Columbia. These are black sea salt. So we felt like it was like the ocean. Because as you know, Lunenburg, Nova Scotia, and where we are is directly on the ocean. And these are made with avocado oil. And I can tell you, if anybody is inside of Canada, find some hard bite chips, take the opportunity. And there's no, and I love this, there's no artificial anything. And it's small batch cooking, no cholesterol, and they're completely gluten-free. And they're absolutely packed with flavor. So our hard bite chips were definitely part of our cooking journey. So we're going to turn around here. There's your convenience of small town cooking, right? And we're going to leverage the other side of the kitchen here. Here we go. I think. There we go. Is everybody there? Got it froze for a second. Hopefully I'm back. I see Mom nodding. There we go. Quick change, right? So here we see the burner. So we've got everything going. There's lots of workspace here. So, and this is the toaster oven that we were using. So the nachos are looking very good in there. So we've got the burner here, right? Oh, that heated up really fast, Elena. Right? Yeah. Super fast. I love that these guys were convenient. Look, I've got little miniature everything for my cooking utensils. And I'm just going to double check. We've got nice heat. We say at Atlantic Canada Cooks, remember, when you're making things like this, make sure your burner is hot so that it cooks in that oil and it doesn't absorb the oil. So we're going to add our eggs in. Immediately cooking around. We're going to get those going. And when you're making an omelet, we want to make sure that we just watch the sides of this. And we want to get the bottom well cooked. And remember what we're adding into our omelet. We've got those wonderful charcuterie board. So this is going to be really great. I'm going to turn this light a little this way. Probably be able to see a little bit better. Yeah. So we've got our beautiful cut up meats. And charcuterie boards are extremely popular, I think, around the world, but I know here in Canada, you're seeing them on food menus. Lots of people are making them at home. And oftentimes you do have leftovers. So I hope I inspire some people to look at doing a charcuterie omelet. The other thing that's really great, you could take those same toppings and put them across nachos. And do them the same way. So there's never a reason to not have all those good foods. So the omelet's cooking up perfectly here. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to add my meat onto one side because I'm going to be folding this in half. So I'm going to have all the meats. I probably have more meat than I have space for because I'm definitely going to add a little bit of cheese as well. Because for me, sometimes it's just a cheese omelet. When I travel in Morocco a lot, I love it. Oftentimes it's just a really good cheese omelet. So we're gonna hold this up so you can have a look. So we've got the meat on one side. I love that everybody leans in. I'm gonna pull the camera up to the omelet. There we go. You can see where you've got your ingredients on one side. And I can see where it's perfectly cooking. So I love these small burners. I've been saying because Atlantic Canada Cooks is going to be on the go here soon. And being able to bring a small burner along with me is a great thing. Ah, look at that. So I have an adventure that's going to be happening this week on Tuesday. And I'm going to have the great privilege of cooking with 20 electrical students from Nova Scotia Community College. So I'll be sharing some pictures of our fun adventure, but we're going to be making some great recipes with them on Tuesday. That omelet is looking perfect. So we're going to be wrapping up here in a few minutes with all of our things out. Elena, good job. She only ate one of them. Did she go in for the peanut butter? Okay, Elena.
It was good.
Yay! She'll come over and share her first experience of peanut butter and banana, and I don't think will be her last. So it's a great, great experience. That omelet is perfectly cooked. And as you see here, everything that I'm cooking with is right here. And Mom, we often joke about leaving cupboard doors open. Well, I love what cooking. There's no cupboard doors at all. So I don't have to worry about that. They're going to be right in here. So that omelet is pretty much cooked through. What I want to make sure at this point is just for it to sit for a little bit. I'm going to set my plate on top of it just for a few seconds, because what I want to have happen is I want to make sure the egg in the middle is cooked through, because sometimes it will be runny. So we want to make sure that that's cooked through, and you either add a plate or put a cover over that on the pan, and that will make sure that that egg gets perfectly cooked through. And it was actually pretty close. And I love this little burner. I'm going to turn that burner off. I'm actually going to unplug the burner just to make sure, because we want to be safe, food safety, kitchen safety, so very important. And now I actually just warmed the plate up too. So we're going to take this out. I'm going to show you our nice perfect omelet. And look at this, it's going to slide right out of the pan. Perfectly ready to go. I think that's going to taste incredible. I know it's going to taste incredible because we put good ingredients in it. So we say when you start with fresh eggs and you start with good local ingredients, you're always going to end up having a fantastic meal at the end. So we're going to put our omelet over here on our plate. I love this. The upper shelf. I feel like I want to make some changes to my own kitchen. Maybe I do need a few open shelves. So we're going to put this here, and I put that nice salad next to our omelet. And I can tell you, I know Elena's hungry and I'm hungry. We woke up today hungry because we had a lot of walking and a lot of stuff going on. But there's your beautiful omelet and salad. Great healthy start to your morning. And like I said, we've got our appetizers with our peanut butter and banana and our peanut butter and jelly sandwiches. And of course, our last piece that's going to come out, we're going to finish off here. But I think they look perfect. They do. We have a hearty. This is the smallest little oven mitts ever. Actually, going to set those right on top of here. One more trick that we're going to show you, because obviously we need our last two toppings. So we're going to finish off these beautiful nacho chips. My spoon here. And we've got that great pico de gallo that we made. Like I said, we've got backyard tomatoes in that, Mom. Inside of this is good. There's a little bit of green pepper. And we've got some nice fresh cilantro. And we're going to just take that across the top of our nachos, which are really hot. And I like this because it adds a coolness to be able to have those. And we're going to use the guacamole for dipping. So as you like, enjoy your guacamole and dipping with that. That's so hot. So I'm just going to hold this up so you can see our meal. And we're going to end with taking a little walk outside. So I hope that each of you take an opportunity to experience staying at small rentals, tiny homes. Go take an adventure, even if it's just for one night. And I can tell you here in Canada, there's lots of wonderful places that you can do that. I want to say a huge thank you to Nutsmith. And it's great because Windsor, Nova Scotia, from where we are, is about a 1 hour drive. And Rob from Nutsmith drove these samples down to make sure that we would have fresh is fresh. I believe it was bottled the day before. So, and there's one of the almond butter. And as we were talking about the beautiful cashew butter, and as we know, we are enjoying that beautiful peanut butter with our dish. So we're going to show you our final meal here. And I'm going to take you on a little side yard tour. And we just really want to say thank you. Where's Elena? There we go. Thanks, Elena, for all your prep work and helping with everything. I think she's most excited because she gets to eat. I am. Elena has cooked with us before on a previous episode. Mom will remember. She introduced us to incredible dishes from Russia, some flavors we hadn't had before. And I'm just happy that I had the privilege to cook for her this morning and to say thank you for what she's doing. But remember, she also did help do some prep work. So there's our beautiful meal that we're going to be enjoying. And as you see, Elena's already sitting and waiting at the table. I have to love this opportunity, right? So there's your tour. But I think our internet is going to stay stable enough for me to go outside, Please connect with us on YouTube, follow along. We love our Zoom audience. Thank you so much for everybody that comes in that I'm able to see and see your beautiful faces and explore the smiles. And I hope again that you continue to cook some of these recipes so that you can experience some more of that great piece. So there's some extra bright light. And you know what? It's a little cooler this morning. There was heavy rainfall, Dion. I'm sure Halifax was a bit messy yesterday. But we woke up this morning to extreme beauty here. And the roosters that live beside us were telling us it was time to get up. Some loud ones. When you come into here, we love it. Look, the keys are on a little lobster keychain. And there's wonderful rules to keeping the place beautiful. And I think you're going to be most surprised. I know Jawad, our project manager, already saw in advance, but you're seeing the brightness. There's a little water dripping off the trees, but we're going to walk out this way. And now you're going to get to see the outside of our beautiful set today and see how gorgeous this little spot is. And if you see, it's like the part of a dory boat, Shinobu. And I know Shinobu's done some dory racing. So you're going to be careful to walk here backwards. And you can see there's a beautiful fenced in area. But had it not been raining, Elaine and I were very prepared to cook out here for you guys today. But you see, we've got this beautiful outdoor sitting room. Absolutely huge. I'll also say there's our house beside us. And there's more room outdoors than indoors. And over here is your beautiful barbecue pit area, which is also covered up. So there you go. This was our unique set for Atlantic Canada Cooks here in September. Next week, we're going to be having some great special guests that are going to be cooking with us. And I'm going to end with this gorgeous view. And you see, that's all painted stars. And I really want to say thank you to the owners of the Ruby. Elaine and I've really enjoyed our stay here. It was perfectly clean, wonderful, and lots of different places to explore. And right over here is another one like ours, but in green. So there's a little bit of a tiny home village here. And I can say that we'll be back because we really enjoyed it. So from this kitchen to all of yours, I just want to say thank you so much for enjoying taking a tour with us as Atlantic Canada Cooks was on the road, experiencing much more of Nova Scotia. And we hope that you stay healthy, take those opportunities, and come visit us in Canada. And I'll be happy to cook for you. So from our kitchens, you want to come and say bye, Elena? Hey, she says, I don't need to move. I can say bye from here. So thanks, everybody. Appreciate everybody on YouTube. And we're going to see you next week, where we're going to be really talking about local products with some extra guests that are going to come in and share their food perspectives with you and share their food story. So bye for now, everybody.